Okay, let's talk about this TikToker, uh, foodie, former MMA fighter, um, a man by the name of Keith Lee. Now, I don't know much about this Keith Lee, but I heard a little bit about apparently that he went to quite a few restaurants in Atlanta, Georgia, black owned restaurants or food places, and he gave some less than stellar reviews of quite a few of these places. And apparently, there was an uproar because of the reviews that he gave. And I'm here to say that we should be thanking Keith Lee. Because there was the TV show with Shannon Sharp. I think it's three of them, but Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, they do a lot of talking. It's Nightcap, I think is the name of the show. And they were talking about this situation with Keith Lee going to these black-owned restaurants in Atlanta. And they had a difference in opinion. Chad Ochocinco's position was more like, why didn't he go to Ruth Chris and all these other expensive restaurants, or, you know, more or less his opinion was like, Keith Lee maybe shouldn't have said anything because these black-owned businesses need to get business, you know, and blah blah. But Shannon Sharp's position was a position which I would say resembles more my position, which is that listen, these black-owned businesses should not just expect to get money from black people just because they are black, and they should be giving good service and being held accountable if they are not giving good service. And I am 1,000% agreement with that because the bottom line is Keith Lee did his job, and Keith Lee did his job objectively because one person who he got caught out there, apparently Mr. Gordon Ramsay had a fish and chip spot that he got food from, and he had a less than stellar review about them, about the food safety, as far as service, the whole thing. Oh yeah, they bombed. That restaurant bombed. I'm quite sure those Gordon Ramsay was made aware of it. So, he's making his rounds, okay? It's not like he's just saying, let me go to these black businesses and beat them up, okay? Anybody can get it, apparently, with Keith Lee, and that's how it should be. If he's going to be a respected and, you know, a foodie of any high esteem. And the worst part about it is that, you know, this idea that Keith Lee's basically operating as a traitor to his race because he dares to actually hold them accountable for bad service, I think it's not good for the community. It's not good for these restaurants because it's not good for their ability to become better and to improve and actually be able to compete with any business, not just other black businesses, but businesses all over the state or even in the country. Okay? I think that's what we should be striving for as a group of people. We should be striving to compete with anybody of any race, ethnicity, any culture, any nation, anything. We should be able to do that, meaning that if anybody comes in that restaurant, they're going to say, I had a great experience in there and the food was of high quality. And that's it. We shouldn't have this situation where we have somebody questioning the safety of the food because things are being some of the same utensils or same equipment is being used for different types of food. People who are allergic, say for example, to shellfish, because that was one thing that Keith Lee had brought up to his experience when he went to Gordon Ramsay's fish and chip spot. He said, "Could you please, tell them to use because I'm allergic to shellfish." So basically, use separate containers. That way, there's no cross contamination. Then you have, and only to have the person working there in front of you telling you that basically, yeah, we're using the same thing for everything. Sorry, but the fact of the matter is, we cannot have this attitude of entitlement with other black people. We shouldn't have this attitude of entitlement with anybody. There was a lady on YouTube. I wish I can remember her name of her video. Someone will bring it up one day, but it was a sister who was talking about how her and her friends had when she was in agreement with Keith Lee as well. But what she was saying was that she had went to a restaurant that was owned by a black woman and brought some of her coworkers there, and she said the food was really good. The woman knew how to cook, but they had a bad experience there because apparently they had bought some hot food and plus coleslaw. So basically, she was packaging the hot food with the cold food in that situation. And I believe that they said that the coleslaw had gave them all diarrhea. So She was trying to figure out what it was, and it was several different people. And once they saw the connection, they said, "Yeah, it must have been the coleslaw being in there." So she called the lady at the restaurant to let her know what had happened. Rather than that woman, engaging in listening, apologizing, satisfying, and thanking her, last, what she did was, have an attitude. She basically told her when she said what happened, she said, "And?" That was her response, first response. And then she said, "Well, this is the way I pack my food. And basically, if you don't like it, you can go do business elsewhere." And she lady said to her, "Are you serious?" She goes, "Yes, I'm very serious." "Well, thank you. Have a nice day." I mean, a woman that is not even a woman, just a business owner in general, being above correction, having that type of arrogance, and that kind of hostility to a customer, somebody's a paying customer, and then tell them, "Oh, well, I don't need your business because I'm not going to change nothing. I'm above correction." That kind of attitude will get no one anywhere, get none of us anywhere. And here's the other thing, too. Worst part is not even just the negative criticism that Keith Lee got for doing this, but apparently, from my understanding through the grapevine, he's even gotten some death threats. I mean, come on, people. Come on, black folks. Come on. That's ridiculous. The man's doing the job, and if anything, if you want to say he should be caring about the black community, well, guess what he is? He's holding them accountable. He's saying do better. He's saying be better. That's what he's saying. Of course, there's going to be people who have different opinion, but at the end of the day, is he going to be in general or collectively probably right? In most cases, probably is. He's got a lot of experience in doing this, okay? This guy's got a lot of notoriety. I don't think he got it for no reason. But we got to accept responsibility. We got to accept accountability. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to compete with anybody. And Keith Lee did his job. That's what he did. So we should be thanking him. We should be celebrating him doing his job. Because nobody can say that because the other side of the coin was people could say, well, he gave them decent reviews because they were black owned. Nope, they can't say that about Keith Lee. Okay? He's shown a lot of credibility in what he's been doing, and we should be celebrating that, not rejecting it, not demonizing it, not making him a pariah because he actually saying, "I want to see these black businesses do well," by holding them accountable. We need to change our disposition on some of these things, folks. We got to look at the situation and stop being so focused on trying to sweep everything under the rug. What we need to do is we need to clean the rug, clean from underneath that rug, and make it nice and clean for real. Instead of thinking we can stuff everything under the rug. No. We shouldn't feel entitled to business from other black people. We should be revering their business. Okay? Not acting like as if, oh, well, you're supposed to buy from me. See, that's the reason why you have low quality when you have this level of entitlement, meaning you don't have to work hard, you don't have to compete. That's never going to go well. Never. So, I don't want to make this an extra long video. The fact is, I tip my hat to Keith Lee for doing his job, for holding these businesses accountable, and not giving them a break based on any cultural or sense of cultural or racial loyalty. No. We should basically, if anything, and I'm not advocating for this, but if anything, you would think that because it's a black-owned business, and because these black people, that these businesses would be trying to value their business, okay? And on top of the fact, and then, okay, you do have some black people that think when they go in some of these businesses, they think they can either act up or feel they're entitled to more because they're black, and that's a problem too. Get rid of those customers. They're not good for your business. You get whatever else, because what, those same people, they wouldn't go into a white restaurant and do that. They wouldn't go to an Italian restaurant. They wouldn't go to a Chinese restaurant. They wouldn't go anywhere and do that and say, here, well, okay, I'm spending money with you. I think I deserve extra. So, no. Yeah, we need to niche that too. But the reality of it is, leave Keith Lee alone. If anything, congratulate this man for doing his job and being on the job and being tireless about it and, stating his opinion. All right? And then you're going to see, once he issues his opinion, then you can look and see how many people concur with what he's saying, which is going to tell you a lot. And if you got a lot of people concurring with what he's saying and conceding his point, then he's won. That means, guess what? This man is no joke. Give him his respect. And you know what you need to do? Be thankful that he's holding these businesses accountable. Guess what? Yes, we do need to have black business, but we need to have competitive, credible, and trustworthy businesses, regardless of what race the person is or what ethnicity or culture they come from. Because that's how we're supposed to have business here in the United States. That's how we're supposed to be doing business. And going back to the old school way of doing things and basically being able to garner people's business. If this woman was doing her job, okay, that when one sister was talking about when the woman didn't want to accept correction about how she packed her hot food with a coleslaw, if she had been listening, she could have apologized to that woman about her experience. She could have said, listen, bring your coworkers in here. When you get a chance, let me know. I will serve you personally myself. I want to try to give you the best experience that you ever had here. We want to make this up to you. We want to earn your business. We want to re-earn your business. That's how she should have done it. But no, she was just too full of bravado, too full of toxic energy. So she ended up losing the business, and rightfully so she deserved to. So people, yes, we need to, look at Keith Lee as an example of professionalism and doing his job. And you know what? If he's holding black businesses accountable, that's better for all of us. Point blank, period. I'm out.